I'm getting the hang of this, but I want to show you what this man is made of so you all can see some of his designs from the tribe and all over. Here we
J
go.
L had that expression on his face like, what's about to happen?
Yeah. This is some of his designs that he has done for the tribe. This is my son, J.L. Woodson. And his artwork is just, I would say, just amazing. Let me show you the Kings of the Castle. Well, yeah, this is the Knights of the Castle. I'm sorry. Those are his designs for the Knights of the Castle. And let me show you, hold on. I'm getting a little bit, stop sharing. And then we go back to the share screen. I don't know how to do it here's the Kings of the Castle. Oh, boss mode. Look at those abs though. Okay, let me stop drooling and fangirling. And then also from my books, he has, are you shaking your head, son? Don't be shaking your head at me. My books, let's see here. These are covers he's done. These are all the covers. These are about 12 of the 30 covers that he's done for me. So his style is interesting. It is wonderful, but it's lively. They're vibrant, you know. So I'm bringing him on so he can actually talk about J L Campbell, our sister from the Islands Mon. And she has come to the Chicago for once for the cavalcade. And she came to the cavalcade when we did it at the Atlantis Resorts in the Paradise Island, Bahamas. And I will tell you, it was super fantastic. So Jeremy, that's his real name, y'all. J.L. Woodson. You're a little bit disappearing there in your green screen. So I only see your ears missing. There we go. So I'm gonna pass it over to you so you can introduce and do your chat with J.L. Campbell.
Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Cool. So I am J.L. Woodson. I'm a graphic designer originally from Chicago, currently living in Houston. I graduated from Columbia College of Chicago with a BA in graphic design. I am also a design front lines lead for General Assembly for Houston, San Diego, and Phoenix. And basically working for an education company, making sure we provide different design courses and everything like that. I'm also the director of diversity and inclusion for AIGA Houston, and have lots of book covers and all that great stuff. I don't know what else to say.
So you did a trip with I think when she came for Chicago. What was that like? And then you can introduce and do the chat with J.L. Campbell.
Okay, so well, one, I want to say thank you to everybody in the chat for your support and telling me my covers are great and stuff. Love you guys. So when J L Campbell came to Chicago, like I love talking about Chicago. I love showing people different parts of Chicago and everything like that. Because I believe which book was that, Evanston, that you King of Evanston. So you wanted to actually, yeah, you wanted to get a good feel for where Evanston actually is in relation to Chicago, because it's actually a suburb. And it was fun. Like I enjoy showing people stuff about the city that I grew up in, especially the things that aren't well known, like the fact that Chicago was founded by a Black Haitian man. The fact Chicago, like there's like certain histories in Chicago or landmarks that are in Chicago that I was able to show her, like the Baha'i Temple, which is close, very close to Evanston. Especially going downtown, or I forgot which breakfast spot we went to, Batters and Berries.
Whoo, baby bye.
And I like, because the thing is, I wasn't sure if any of this stuff was going to impress her or anything like that, because it's like, like I'm not sure where else she had been or anything like that, but at the same time, like getting a chance to get different food, because like, I mean, I'm always willing to go to Jamaica for some jerk chicken now, or some of their landmark foods and everything. But it was fun. I enjoyed showing her around and basically giving her my version of the ins and outs of the city.
Wait a minute. Somebody in the background said, "You have a lot of jobs, man. You are Jamaican." And somebody, those covers are hot. He's extremely talented, very talented. Love some JL. I love his cover. These are different people. I love his covers. He's very talented. Beautiful covers. Oh my God. Yes.
Thank you.
JL Woodson is a master. He is so talented. It's always good for people to hear, you know, when people appreciate a talent or things of that sort. So I'm going to pop in J L Campbell. How are you, your writing process and being part of the tribe? I would love, because you've got about 30 some odd whatever books. How has it been writing with the tribe?
It's been, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, great. It's been new and different, and sometimes wanting to pull your hair out experience, but it is all good. It's all good. I tend to be a not so disciplined writer. Over the years, I've become less disciplined. I produce a lot, but I've become less disciplined. And so when these anthologies are to be put together, it takes a certain level of discipline to get your writing in when you're supposed to have it in. It takes discipline to turn it into your editor when she says she wants it in. It's also interesting to be able to discipline yourself to make the changes that the editor wants. Now, Lisa, she can be a very
Hey, watch it now.
Yeah, I'm looking for the word.
Aggressive,
A very
passionate.
Yes, a very passionate.
I don't think she was looking for passionate. That's why I said, okay.
I'm going with the PG-13. I grew up with you, so I know what she's talking about. But anyway.
And so, particularly for the two books that are behind me, The King of Evanston and more so The Knight of Paradise Island, the thing that I most appreciate about being in the tribe and working with Lisa is that she pulls more out of me than I know is there. Because so both books, especially King of Paradise Island, there were times when I felt I can't do it. I just don't think I have it in me to put in there what she wants. But it's the good thing about that is when you decide to apply yourself, and when someone believes that you can do what they say you can do, it does something for your mental mindset. And so you're able to produce when you're supposed to produce, you're able to finish the job. And one of the other things I enjoy about being in the tribe is the support. Now, having been on my own for so long, yes, I've kind of hybrid. I have been with several publishers and I self-publish most of my stuff. But I have been on my own most of the time. And so you have to be all things. So you have to be promoting, you have to be writing. And sometimes even now, I get to the point where I forget that if I say, hey guys, I have something coming up, would you blast this out for me? That there are people who will act to our family, who will support, who will make the job so much easier. So that is how, in a nutshell, in a long, big nutshell, how the tribe has, changed things for me. And I hope you're understanding the accent and that I'm not speaking too quickly.
No, it's beautiful. I know Stephanie Freeman, she will listen to you all day. I love it too. It's not you have an accent. You tell us. I remember we were in the back of the car. We were driving somewhere and there was Bahamas on one side. There was Kiva from the Bahamas and you from Jamaica. And you said, we were with Sierra K. She said, oh, look, they have an accent. And you all said, no, you said, we have an accent. And that's when Sierra K said, no, they can't, they're in our country right now. They can't say that. They have an accent. So I thought that was hilarious, hilarious. Jeremy, you have a question? Jeremy, JL, do you have a question for JL? I love that. Can you hear me? Oh, he's muted. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me ask to unmute. So yeah, there you go. You have, because you're in the middle of writing the last 20 pages of, finishing up the last 20 pages of your book. Jeremy, do you have a question for J L Campbell?
Man, okay. So like, okay, I wanted to gauge like how different the writing, like as far as when it comes to writing things that are pertaining to your own home, like home area, how different is it like in contrast to what you're experiencing with the tribe? Because like a lot of the writers here are, of course, from America, but I'm sure like there are some differences that like especially cultural differences.
In the writing, yeah, yeah, and
I
word
for,
usage.
yeah, yes, starting with the word usage. There was a guy who said to me, he was a critique partner. He is an American, and he said to me that your language is more Latinate than
Mm,
English. And so over time, I've had to become conscious of the fact that I tend to use different words than what an American would use. And so my language might sound clumsy to some people. So over time, I've had to shift that up. In terms of writing from a different culture, I like to say that Jamaica is a character in all of my books. Not so that it's a travelogue, but so that you have an idea of the small cultural nuances that, make Jamaica, Jamaica, and what makes Jamaicans, Jamaicans. But I've learned so much writing for the American market in that my writing tends to be literary. If I'm
mm,
not paying attention, it
mm-hmm.
tends to be very literary. And so I've had to learn to not put in circuitous language. I don't take the long route anymore. I try to not put in as many descriptions and as many descriptors as I normally would, so that people are not, they don't get stuck
Mm,
in trying to navigate what I write through what I write. So does that answer your question? Or
mm-hmm.
it does?
Yeah.
Okay.
Indeed. Mom.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I can't. Can you all hear me? Somebody say something because I.
Yes.
Yes, we're hearing you.
Okay. Oh, you know what? My iPad went over the keyboard and it put it on mute. I'm sorry. Okay. So, any tribe member have any questions for J L Campbell?
While you think about it, something interesting that one of your previous guests said, and it's that in terms of who we're writing for, I would think that I am at the first stop. I'm writing for people that look like me. And however, it occurred to me that somebody said to me that she's an American, and she said to me one day, why don't you, because she's read everything that I've written, and she said to me, why do you put people of your color on the covers? Because that might be a deterrent to other people. And I said to her, what do you mean? She said to me, well, the fact is, America is not, Black people are a minority, and you will have a wider reach if you have something more abstract on it, like, a book or a plant or, something. And it hit a nerve. And for a while, I went with that because I understood exactly what she was saying. Because she also said to me that if someone picks up your book without someone on the cover, by the time they are invested in the characters, it's too late for them to say, no, I'm not going to read this because these people are of a different culture. And so there are just so many things, so many hurdles you have to cross and so on. But at the same time, when JL does such beautiful covers, no matter what culture you are, I think I got a little enthusiastic there and did something, yeah. So no matter what culture you are, once the covers are interesting, you don't care what, who's on it. You kind of want to know, what is that story all about? So, we go through this writing process and we learn so much in putting out our books.
Okay. I got
JL,
a. Hmm? Go.
no, go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Not fair enough.
You guys
Okay.
are too doggone polite around this camp.
You'll be all right. Miss Campbell, my question to you. What genre have you not written in that you would like to write in?
That's interesting. I I can tell you what I don't want to do. I don't want to do sci-fi. Too much world building, and I admire you people who write sci-fi. I don't want to
Of
do
course.
horror because I'll see things in my home in the dark. So that's not something I want to do. Historical, I'm lazy. So I don't think that's something I want to do either. Too much research. So
Thank you,
You're
Jen.
honest about it. At least you're honest.
apocalyptic thing is not me either. Just too much. The whole world building and the monsters and whatnot. So, Western is not something I want to write either. So I don't have an answer to that question.
Well, there is that. Well, that answers another question in that regard. So now that we know what you won't write in, that might help things in that matter. But I think the only other thing I can think of is just, I guess, with regard to a lot of your characters, which one has stood out to you throughout your entire catalog? Which one stands out amongst them?
Okay, then. So, I was thinking about that today. I wrote a book a couple of years ago, 2017, 2018, and that came about because I was on the job. It's the book is The Thick of Things,
Mhm.
and it, I was at work. I was in Montego Bay, and this man walks in, and he's a fine black man. He's tall, he's strapping, he's good looking. And I thought, what if? And so he became the basis for Douglas in that
Okay.
novel. Yeah. So and because it was a turning point for me in that the characters in that novel are a little older. I've noticed that as I'm growing, I don't want to say older, as I'm maturing, I tend to write older characters. And so they were the first characters that I had written who were in their 40s and trying to navigate a new relationship. But they Doug and Kalila, they have stood out for me. Yeah, and that book, The Thick of Things, it was published through Garden Avenue Press, and it became another one. There was a second one, that I wrote to complete that story, and then there was a third one in which I did a weird thing. The first two books were contemporary fiction, and the third one turned out to be a romantic suspense. So yeah, all kinds of weirdness.
There you go.
So I have a question. What is one of your favorite things about being an author, and what is one of your least favorite things about being an author?
That's a good one.
My favorite thing is just being able to exercise some creativity, to just have somebody knock at the door of my brain and say, my name is so and so, and this is my story, and the ability to take that in any direction I want. Yes. The least favorite thing that has to do with the whole, well, it's not to do with writing really, but it's because I like editing. I tell myself that I hate tidying up, but I don't. That's when you perfect everything. That's when everything gets so much better. That's when the story really starts to develop, and you get that diamond that that was there under all that dross. But the least favorite thing though is after you have written the book and you have a nice cover on it and it's been edited, then you have to market it. Yeah, so that's the not so favorite part. But at the same time, I like playing with graphics, so that makes it not so tedious. So the playing with the graphics part is fun. You produce something and you say, yes, this my book cover looks really nice on this, and you put it out. But the marketing part is the not so fun part. Yeah.
Good.
Yes.
I did have a question. So, oh, everybody just went away. There we go. Okay, so in a mostly, we all understand that this industry is mostly dominated by women as far as being an author and everything like that. What do you do to make sure you stand out as an author, especially within your writing, that stands out from everybody else?
The first thing is a name. When I started way back in, I was published in 2010, first published in 2010 through a small publisher. And the feeling at that time, because I had read hundreds of articles, was that men are rated higher and better in the literary world. And so that's how I became J L Campbell. And then Joy is not a name that you put on the cover of a book. I mean, like, yeah, you know, that's a whole nother story with my parents, where my father wanted to name me one thing, my mother named me Joy. She didn't want him to name me Dawn because Dawn wasn't a name. But then Joy is also not what I would consider the heights of a choice or a name. But anyway, to come back to the question. So to make my work stand out, Jamaica is always going to be something that I do differently, because while I don't put enough in there to bog down the story, I do have the land, the beaches, the food, the music. And so all of that, you know, makes my work stand out from anybody else's writing. And plus I tend to write, in terms of romances, I tend to write, I know a lot of people do that, like male characters and female characters, but I tend to, I interview people. So if I'm talking about something a doctor does, I find a doctor to talk to. If I need something about what a lawyer does, I find a lawyer to talk to. If I need, you know, whatever surgical procedure I want, you know, everything. It's a lot of research, but I always try and find the expert in the field, so that when you pick up the book, you have no doubts that I know what I'm talking about, even though I really don't know what I'm talking about. But, you know, I have the background information that allows me to write convincingly. Yeah.
I think we've got a question coming out of JD Mason asking, is your reader base bigger in America or is it bigger in on the island?
Definitely in America. We tend to say in Jamaica that Jamaicans don't read, but that's not true. That's not true. But I have found that my reach is bigger in America, and we tend to be, I don't know if it's our British legacy, you know, the legacy of England, but we tend to be a lot more formal in what we do. Like, she was just pointing out, Unoma was just pointing out, until I was like in my mid-20s and I went into a bookstore, I did not know that there were Black women who wrote romance. That's when I picked up my first Francis Ray book, just by walking into a bookstore and noticing that they had a shelf that had Black romance. All I'd been reading up to that point was a Mills and Boone and a Harlequin, and they didn't have people who looked like me on those covers. So, you know, the world has shifted and changed and all of that. So.
Lisa, did you have a question?
Sorry, I was on mute. So, JL, you write some very intriguing characters. How do you start? Do you do like a character sheet for your characters, or do you put a lot of thought in, okay, I want him to be this tall and I want him to look like this and I want him to dress this way, and, you know, his hobbies, his personality, stuff like that?
Let's just say I used to be very disciplined. Used to be. And so I would have detailed character charts for each person. These days, because I guess I tell myself that I don't have enough time. So I have the character rattling around in my head for a little while, and then I start writing. On the way, I will use OneNote to kind of put in the things as they come. So if he steps into his vehicle, I'm like, what is that? And then if I know what it is, I'll then go online and find an Audi, for example, and I'll paste that in. And so as I go along, I learn the character as I go along, you know, which is total opposite from what I used to do, was to sit down before I started writing and to say, he likes this, he likes that, this is his character, this is what he owns, and so on. So now it's more of a, you know, you know, as you go along process.
JD Mason has a question. What is your dream book to write, or have you written it? I asked that question because you're very prolific.
You know, I see all of these books, and, you know, as a writer, I'd want to, you know, I'd want to touch someone's life in a meaningful way. Really want to write something that someone will read it and think, oh my goodness, yeah, this is life-changing. But unfortunately, that hasn't happened yet. So what I do is just tell each story the best way I know how. Yeah, it's no sense trying to do something lofty when the creator has not said for me to do that. Just do what you can, do the best that you can with what you have. So I'm not really thinking right now of anything that I haven't written that I would want to write. Yeah, I kind of let go of that dream a few miles back.
We can't hear you, Mama.
Oh, Pat has a question.
Here's the
Pat
question.
Pat
Here's
says,
the question.
Can you hear me?
We're saying it at the same time.
Oh, okay, go ahead. I was going to read Pat's question.
Is your reader base bigger in America or Jamaica?
Mama,
America.
they
already
asked that.
answered that one.
She answered that.
Okay.
The next one was, you seem to edit a lot of books. How do you find the time to shift and write so many books?
The answer to that question is that when I was not published, I was writing a lot of books. So by the time I got 2 contracts at the same time, one for 2 books, one for one other. So by that time, I had amassed a certain amount of books that I had been writing just because I loved writing and was writing all the time, was writing before work, was writing at lunchtime, was writing after work. So while it may seem that I've put out a lot in a short time, I had all of that going on before anybody said yes to me. For now, in terms of editing and writing and publishing, my husband tells me that I need to be more organized and focused in what I do. So I would like to say that if I have something to edit for someone else, that I am going to say I'm going to edit on Monday and I'm going to edit on Wednesday and I'm going to write on Tuesday and Thursday. No, it doesn't work like that. I tend to want to finish what I start. And so I am going to be doing that editing. And then once that is finished, unless I have a pressing deadline, I will dedicate some time and say, hey, I have to finish this book and I'm going to do it, get it done. But I tend to be focused. When I focus, I focus.
Okay, so Jeremy's going to ask one last question and wrap this up. And then we got station identification to do a little bit of promo, Jeremy to tell about his new podcast. And then we're moving into Kasana, who's hanging with us. That's my dog. That's my dog. No, let me stop. Doll, D-O-L-L, not dog, doll. Okay, I'm getting that straight. Okay. So Jeremy, your question?
So being that you're on an island, I can only imagine that it's beautiful just being there. So where do you normally write? Like, is it in the house? Do you write on the beachfront with palm trees and all that good stuff?
You know, most Jamaicans do not go to the beach. I live less than, I don't know. I don't even know if I live 2 miles from the beach, but I can't tell you when was the last time I went. On a personal level, there's just too much sand on the beach. Okay. So right.
I know, right?
So, no. So, the thing is, we kind of, we take what we have for granted. So many of us don't go to the beach. Most people go to the beach on a holiday. In terms of writing, I can write anywhere. just give me a little space and I get the job done, especially if the
6 feet
story is
now.
flowing.
6 feet right now.
Especially if the story is flowing, I can pick up my phone and I can dictate into it. I write basically anywhere.
Oh, that's interesting because we go away to the beach to get away from our life. So where do you all go away to get away from all that sand and sun?
Jamaican people love rum bar.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh,
Like to party. Jamaican people like to party.
that is too funny. Okay, so I'm going to share this really quickly with everyone. Uh-oh, my screen sharing failed to start. So let's do this again. I'm getting, that is not working so well. So let us try it again. Jeremy, tell us a little bit about JL. Tell us, JL Woodson. Tell us a little bit about your new podcast.
Okay. So it's called If It Isn't Love podcast. Basically, I do that with my girlfriend, Danisha. We're basically documenting and telling our journey as far as our relationship and how we came to live together. Basically, we're having conversations about stuff that we were already talking about. So that is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, Anchor, Google Podcasts. We also do video, so it's on YouTube. So you guys can go like, subscribe, and share. We are on Instagram. You can catch like little snippets from like certain parts of the show on at If It Isn't Love podcast on Instagram. But yeah, basically we're just gonna talk about all the stuff that we're going through. It's not always going to be the happy parts of a relationship. We're going to talk about finances, things of that sort. So you guys go ahead and take a listen and take a look.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. And you have a new book coming out.
Yes.
And it comes out not this coming Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, which means it's going to be finished practically this weekend, so that it can get in the hands of the people that it needs to. So hint, hint. All but 20 pages is done, y'all. He has to look those over one last time, but I'm just saying, hint, 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 hint.
And y'all think I don't know what her writing process is like. Okay.
See, that's just
I feel all y'all. So.
See, that's just wrong. Okay, so thank you, thank you, thank you. And Mr. Woodson, we are going to play one of your favorite games later today. We did library card revoked instead of black card revoked. It's library card revoked because it's all book related. And one gotta go. So we're going to do that. I don't know if you had time. Well, you got writing to do, and you got graphic designs or whatever. If you want to pop back in for that, because you can explain the one gotta go. I didn't even know it was a digital version of that. So thank you for the cards for that. So we're going to get that going much later after all the chat. So if you want to come back in, just send me a text. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
All right. Thanks again. Let's